How is your diet? Do you even think about your diet? Would you know what it meant even if you had a chance to contemplate it? Well, if your desire is for a longer health span and a shorter waistband, keep watching because that is just what I want to look at today. Diet is a minefield. It seems like everyone is different, and even foods that superficially look the same may not really be the same. A world littered with quirky terms and hidden ingredients for something that we all need every day. We can now see that different people react differently to the same foods, including their glucose response. But we've always really known this deep down. Food intolerances just show how people can differ, and with all we are learning about the microbiome, where the human microbiota could number in excess of 100 trillion cells, it's not at all surprising to find that we all react differently to some foods than others. Indeed, just the activation or inactivation of certain genes can switch us from wanting to store a certain amount of body fat to deciding to just let the calories go elsewhere, and these genes can be initially primed by the parent's physical condition at conception and then influenced further by the diet during development, such as certain vitamins and minerals and amino acids. It is almost as if the process is setting everything up ready to face the world outside. Shock horror. If it thinks the world will offer an abundance, then genes will be set with less regard for storing excess calories. Whereas if it thinks the world will provide only struggle, then all systems will be primed to run on less and store every little excess in case of need. So, how can we even hope to make sense from such a mess of data and conflicting reports? Well, we can look to science, obviously. But first, let us establish the basics so we all know where we stand and what we are referring to. Food is energy and nutrition for the body. We measure the energy quantity via calories, but that is the worst place to get stuck in the beginning. For most people, quantity of calories is never lacking. However, the quality of those calories certainly is. They are usually empty or beige calories, along with heavily processed or junk type foods, which can account for a staggering proportion of a diet in great many. This is where you can make the most impact initially, that and intermittent fasting, but that's for another video. So, food is made up of macronutrients, and the three macronutrients are carbohydrates, fats and protein. Here are some common foods with each macronutrient group. Carbs are about 4 calories per gram. They are all starchy foods like bread, pasta, potatoes, and also include fruit, legumes, juice, sugar, and some dairy products. Protein is also about 4 calories per gram. Main sources include meat and fish, dairy, eggs, legumes, and vegetarian alternatives like tofu. Fats. Now these are 9 calories a gram, significantly higher. Main sources include nuts, seeds, oils, butter, cheese, oily fish, fatty meat. This is where fats are an issue. It is due to their calorific density. It is easy to fly past your daily allowance of calories without even realizing. But eat vegetables and the same calorie consumption would take you hours and have you feeling much fuller, much quicker. But really, how much of each macronutrient should you consume depends on your lifestyle and goals, as well as your personal preferences. You're unique to a degree. Just look to get all the core essentials. So that is where micronutrients come in. Micronutrients are important vitamins and minerals that you require in smaller doses. Some of the most common micronutrients you should know already are magnesium. This plays a role in over 600 cellular processes, including energy production, nervous system function and muscle contraction. Potassium. This mineral is important for blood pressure control, fluid balance and the function of your muscles and nerves. Iron. This is primarily known for carrying oxygen in the blood, but iron also has many other benefits, including improved immune and brain function. Calcium. An important structural component of bones and teeth, and also a key mineral for your heart, muscles and nervous system. All the vitamins from A to K play important roles in every organ and every cell in your body. All of the vitamins and minerals are essential nutrients, meaning that you must get them from your diet in order to survive and live a healthy lifestyle. Then there are the terms whole foods and processed foods. The term whole foods generally describes natural, unprocessed foods containing only one ingredient. Whole foods tend to be nutrient dense and have a lower energy density. They have fewer calories and more nutrients per serving than processed foods. In contrast, many processed foods have low nutritional value and are as such referred to as empty calories. The daily requirement of each micronutrient varies between individuals. If you eat a real whole food based diet that includes plants and animals, then you should get all the micronutrients your body needs without taking any supplements. You should aim to consume whole foods at least 80 to 90% of the time. Try to base your diet around these healthy food groups. Vegetables should play a fundamental role at most meals. They are low in calories yet full of important micronutrients and fibre. Fruits provide micronutrients and antioxidants and fibre. Meat and fish are a major source of protein. Nuts and seeds are one of the best fat sources available and also contain important micronutrients. Eggs are considered as one of the healthiest foods on the planet with protein, beneficial fats and micronutrients. Dairy products such as natural yogurt and milk are convenient, low-cost sources of protein and calcium. Healthy starches like potatoes, quinoa and Ezekiel bread are healthy and nutritious. Beans and legumes are fantastic sources of fibre, protein and micronutrients. Water should make up the majority of your fluid intake, along with drinks like coffee and tea. Herbs and spices are often very high in nutrients and beneficial plant compounds. Now for processed foods. I think we all know that there are different levels of processing to foods. Freezing and baking are both processes, but the types of food that are much more of concern are packaged baked goods and snacks, fizzy drinks, sugary cereals, ready meals, dehydrated vegetable soups, reconstituted meat and fish products, and almost anything you consider a fast food takeaway. You see, all these food types can contain combinations of high levels of added sugar, low quality fats and excessively high salt, while providing little or no vitamins and fibre. It has been shown that a 10% increase in the proportion of ultra-processed food in the diet was associated with significantly higher rates of overall cardiovascular disease at 12%, coronary heart disease at 13% and cerebrovascular disease at 11%. In another study, they showed that a higher consumption of ultra-processed foods of more than 4 servings per day was associated with a 62% increased risk of all-cause mortality when compared with lower consumption of less than 2 servings per day. In contrast, the researchers found a significant association between unprocessed or minimally processed foods and lower risks of all reported diseases. So, avoid ultra-processed foods and packaged foods if possible, and if you want to benefit longevity, it seems a well-balanced diet is the best key. I will look at other diets in other videos, but this Lancet meta-analysis found that just over half the energy intake from carbohydrates had the best results with longevity, but it is always best to source your carbs from the complex varieties and fresh fruit and veg with as many colours as possible, and to limit the beige carbs or simple carbs as much as possible. But that is not all. This meta-analysis of 17 studies showed a correlation between dietary fibre intake and all-cause mortality, with lower intake leading to a higher risk of all-cause mortality. It seems that each 10 grams per day increase correlated with about a 10% lower risk of all-cause mortality. So fruit, veg, peas, beans, pulses, oats, whole grain cereals, nuts, seeds, potatoes with skin. Basically, you know where this is heading. It all links back to eating fresher food and less packaged, processed and fast takeaway types foods. Dietary fibre consists of resistant carbohydrates found in fruits, vegetables and whole grains. Fibre persists in our digestion system, and while not digestible by humans, our gut bacteria can metabolize fibre into short-chain fatty acids and other byproducts critical to human health. And short-term intervention in daily fibre consumption can significantly alter the gut microbiome and nutrient intake. A reduced fibre diet is associated with diseases like type 2 diabetes and colon cancer. And with new understandings about how gut microbial changes can indirectly impact human health, and a better understanding of dietary fiber's role in gut microbiota, we can manage diseases associated with the microbiome better. And then there are omega-3 fatty acids, which have a role in muscles, most likely through mTOR, which we have looked at before. And here it shows that improved diet led to less deterioration in motor functions, better glucose uptake, and a longer life, although this was just flies. Recently, the NutriNet-Santé study published a whole series of findings, and this is the largest, longest running study ever done, so it does have some great pointers to draw from. The strongest associations came from ultra-processed foods, which are correlated to an increased risk of cancer, cardiovascular and coronary heart disease, cerebrovascular diseases, mortality, depressive symptoms, type 2 diabetes, obesity, and gastrointestinal disorders. We cannot forget to remind ourselves either that intricately linked with diet is sleep. You can see my videos on sleep if you have not already, but to cut a long story short, sleep too little, badly, or even at just the wrong times, and you could be consuming more calories and of the wrong types, and your body could be processing those ingredients worse as well. It's a lose-lose-lose situation, and I don't think anybody would argue with that. Okay, so let's break this down. Salt. Awesome stuff, essential to life, but in some ready meals and processed foods you could quickly fly past the recommended amounts in just one meal. Oils and fats. An essential part of your diet, in good sources such as olive oil, avocados and oily fish that is. But the cheap oils used in processed foods are no good whatsoever, and they have even been shown to be harmful after being heated, and that is just on their own, never mind when combined with sugars and simple processed carbs. As for sugar, from fruit to honey to sugarcane, we have had a sweet tooth throughout evolution. Quick, fast calories in a world where the next meal may be days away. But food is no longer so scarce, and we rarely have to run for our lives. Well, the lucky ones anyway. Sugars, along with simple beige carbs, spike the insulin levels in the blood, and we are now starting to appreciate the damage that sustained insulin levels can do over the long term. So, enjoy your food, and you do not have to eat like a monk. But if you want to enjoy the later years and not die young, more fresh food and less overly processed food is probably the best way to go. Now, if you want to see how critical a good sleep routine is to your health and longevity, just click here and watch this video. But if you've already seen that, then why not try this one? And until next time, thanks for dropping by.